This is the Analysing Anfield podcast on the Blood Red channel, bringing you the best tactical and statistical analysis of Liverpool FC.
Hello everybody and welcome to this episode of Analysing Anfield. I'm Josh Williams and I'm joined once again by David Hughes. How are you getting on, mate?
Yeah, I'm alright, mate. I'm not too bad, thank you.
Still going, yeah?
Yeah, still going strong.
I'm not sure what week this is now from home. This might be week 3, week 4, something like that.
Yeah, it's all making its one. In fact, last week, legitimately, I finished that on Thursday evening, and I was like, you know what, I'm a little bit burnt out here. I can't wait for Monday. It's bank holiday, and I had no idea it was Good Friday the next day, just because of how kind of messy the weeks are at the moment. And I nearly did a somersault in the living room. I was made up, but it just made me laugh because it just shows that completely losing track of time at the moment, because I legitimately had no idea, and I don't think that's ever happened to me since I've started working when I was like 17, 18. So, yeah, mad period.
Yeah, I mean, we had a few years off, didn't we? Back to it now, back delivering the content. Yeah. Hopefully there's still people with us. We appreciate that it's been quite a while now without football, so I assume it's the diehards who are still craving the content. So we are going to round off a series this episode, because I'll go through it again for those that haven't been listening. I'll provide a little explainer every week, but what we've been doing is we've been recreating Liverpool's first 11, as though that first 11 didn't exist, but we still want them to play in exactly the same way. So Firmino dropping off, Salah running in behind, the midfield being all industrious and stuff like that. We did the attack 2 weeks ago, front three. We did the midfield 3 last week, and this week we are on to the final chapter. So that's Alisson and the back four. So because it's 2 players this time, we've got 1 player for each position rather than having 2 as we have done the past couple of weeks. I don't know who Dave's picked. Dave doesn't know who I've picked. I don't think there's anything else to add, so we'll get stuck in and start at the very back. So we'll start with Alisson. So replacing Alisson's output as though a player come in immediately and Liverpool wouldn't really suffer a massive drop off in terms of quality or in terms of style of play. So what have you gone for, Dave?
So I've started with a keeper this trade in the French league, and that's Predrag Rakovic.
Done well with that.
Oh, thank you, mate. Yeah, I know. I was panicking, to be honest, because you know what I'm like for names. A little sweat actually, but yeah. Oh, mate, he makes me look good. But he plays for Stade Reims, which I think I've got that pronunciation is correct as well. Or there or thereabouts. You know, it's difficult. But he was signed from Maccabi Tel Aviv last season for just 3 million. I'll say last season in the summer. And he's gone on to be one of League's success stories. He's been really, really strong. 12 clean sheets, which obviously we know you can't always just attribute that to goalkeepers alone. It's normally good defence, stays up past well, but it's still impressive. He's got a really big frame, 6 foot 3 inches, and he has the best save percentage in the division with 81.25%, which again is impressive. For context, he's 24.
Okay,
which is still it's pretty young now for the goalkeeper, as we know.
Yeah, because I remember a few years back, like I don't know, say 3 or 4 years ago, Football Manager quite often, and I'll call him being a bit of a wonder kid at the age of around 18 or something like that. Wonder kid goalkeeper. I think he was playing in the Eastern Europe sort of.
Yeah,
so it's the same keeper, to be honest.
It's interesting that he only really made a move to like a top 5 European league in the summer, because normally talent like that you'd expect to be picked up sooner. So I don't know what the story is with that. He looks really good in the metrics this season. He's got a post shot expected goals against of 22.79, meaning, in basic terms, for those who maybe don't understand, he expected to concede around 23 open play goals this season. He's only conceded 19, which is a decent overperformance and a testament to his abilities. But he's also, I must stress, it's quite difficult to capture things like ability on the ball for the keeper, I think. In terms of numbers anyway, I think you have to watch them. I've watched some of his clips and he does look good on the ball. He looks composed. They play in the side that Liverpool play, where Alisson's quite often like a sweeper keeper, isn't he? We said down the show many times. I didn't see a lot of those examples, but when he was on the ball, he looked composed. So potentially he could turn into that style keeper maybe one day if he did make a move to somewhere like Anfield with Liverpool. In terms of an actual chance of signing for Liverpool, he only costs 3 million a year ago. Yeah, obviously you'd expect that to be a lot higher now, but I still don't think it'd be breaking the bank. And could he potentially be a player who could come in as a number 2 and then progress to number 1 further down the line? I don't know, but I think he's a player to start with, and he's one to watch. Even if he doesn't end up coming to Anfield, he's one to watch that may end up coming to the Premier League at some point.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Just how Eastern Europe seems to produce these goalkeepers. Like I'm thinking Jan Oblak, Petr Cech, just proper legendary goalkeepers seems to originate from like Czech Republic and countries like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know if they things like with basketball and stuff seem to be quite relevant over there. Whereas it's not huge in Europe, they seem to. Like Eastern Europe seem to, play it fair. I'm not an expert. It's just I've kind of picked up. A lot of football teams seem to have like things like basketball teams as well, and I don't know if maybe that plays a part in it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just you think of like Serbia, Slovakia, Slovenia, and places like that. It tends to be, and there's no science behind this at all, but it tends to be the further back you go on the pitch, the higher the quality is. You don't get that many Eastern European strikers who are really. I mean, Luka Jovic comes to mind. There's obviously a few of them in that, but usually the closer you get to defence and goalkeeper, the better the standards get. Yeah, interesting note there. So for me, I found it a little bit tricky, just because Alisson's, there's a reason he broke the world record for his fee, and he's quite complete. He's commanding figure, bit of a leader, very brave and bold in his actions, technical kind of player, big shot stopper, and he dominates. I found it quite important. He dominates his whole defensive third sometimes, which coincides with Liverpool playing a high line and very proactive game. So I found it tricky to find the goalkeeper that could do it. But I went for Unai Simon or Unai Simon. I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce that.
That's the Spanish guy, is it?
Yeah, Athletic Bilbao. Another club who were, I think, synonymous with goalkeepers. I'm not sure the came from Bilbao or Madrid, Atletico Madrid. Remember that?
Yeah, I think he was Madrid, but I might be wrong. But obviously Kepa come from there, didn't he? I know he hasn't.
Yeah,
I know he had a tough season, but yeah.
So he's 22 years old anyway. Very similar to your keeper in terms of his frame. He's another who's 6'3", the same height as Alisson actually. And yeah, one issue. I wouldn't call it an issue, but one thing I did try to find in the numbers is how proactive he was, how brave he was in terms of coming off his line. Because I think Liverpool really saw, particularly with Mile and I think AD and Sins in certain moments, just that fear of coming off your line. I hate it. So I wanted to find a goalkeeper that had it about him to do things like that. So check the metrics. Average distance from goal that a keeper's defensive actions originate from. And he's 7th in La Liga for his average distance where he's doing things. So not particularly special, but he's obviously not the type to stick to his line. And it remains to be seen whether that stat that I've used is absolutely perfect and whether it captures a goalkeeper straight or a team straight. It's 20th on the list for La Liga. I think it was it was either 20th or bottom 3 was Jan Oblak. But obviously that stems back to Atletico Madrid's style of play, the whole deep block thing. He's really as a confidence. So yeah, I think he's proactive enough for me. As I said, 22 years old, big player. And in terms of his saving, he's having a decent season. You've just mentioned there, post shot, expected goals, which considers more than just the location of the shots that a keeper's faced. It will consider, the power of the shot, the placement of the shot, and things like that. He's overperforming that this season by about 7 goals in La Liga, that is. So, that offers an insight into a decent shot stopper there. Distribution for me was, again, similar to yourself, was fine. I don't think anything particularly special, but I think if you're going to go looking for special keepers in that regard, you're going to be looking for a while. So he's good enough for me there. And in terms of his attainability, it's probably going to be as is regarding Bilbao, and saying you just got to pay his release clause. Not sure what that is. Probably a lot. But yeah, it's purely speculation anyway. I mean, we're not going to replace Alisson anytime soon, but this is a lad that showed up as decent and showed up as capable in terms of just stepping in for him, and Liverpool shouldn't drop a great deal. You aware of it, Dave?
Yeah, no, I am. Yeah, it's I was just thinking about the point that you said there about in terms of fees. It's like their business model of Bilbao's, where it's kind of hold on, just on that, they don't like. Am I right in saying they don't like to be called Bilbao? Is there something behind that?
Probably. I'm probably offending the whole country or something. Yeah.
No, I literally, as I said it then, I was thinking, I feel like someone's told me on that before. Maybe someone will clarify that for us. But yeah, their kind of, I suppose, business model really is, having these high release clauses, making a lot of money off the sales, which is why they kind of are able to keep that tradition of bringing local players through. So yeah, I think it's interesting. But yeah, no, he looks a good goalkeeper. Admittedly, I didn't know his numbers were as good as you said there. I didn't know he was, for example, overperforming against his post-shot XG by, what was it, nearly 7 goals?
Nearly 7, yeah. I think there's one goalkeeper in Spain who's doing more than that with about 12. But I think he was about 35 years old or something. So obviously he wasn't an option.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sounds impressive. Yeah.
So in terms of defence, we'll go left to right, I think. So start off with Andy Robertson.
Oh, I'm happy to go first, but I'm always conscious that you're always giving me first dibs here. Do you want to start us off, or are you not bothered?
Yeah, come on, that sounds decent.
Okay, mate, come on. It's only fair, isn't it?
For this one, I've picked the player because we were sticking to one, but I'm going to throw in another 2 names.
Okay.
And I've got another name for the back as well, but we'll get to that.
So I actually, but mate, it's just someone I want to throw in. But yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah. So in terms of Robertson, I just wanted my criteria sort of thing was I wanted an aggressive player, clearly very hungry and industrious and stuff like that, energetic, complete engine. Crucially, a good attack, comfortable attacking, because Liverpool tend to attack through the fullbacks and let the midfield kind of just sit. Obviously, the midfield I picked last week includes Dennis Zakaria, Wilfred Ndidi, and someone else, can't remember who the other one was, but with the midfield kind of that industrious and that discipline, like I'm going to need defensive fullbacks to play the way Liverpool do. So, I wanted a runner, someone who's capable of running, penetrating defences with runs, and good delivery of the ball. So, tough. But I went down the route of Aaron Martin, 22 years old, from Mainz. He's Spanish, and his expected assists this season is actually higher than Robertson's, per 90. Good delivery and things like that. Looked like a capable runner up and down the flank. Has played as a wing back, and he just applied enough for me to. I mean, maybe he'll have to improve his defensive game and his aggression and things like that, because I don't think he's got that kind of I'll sound a little down, but when you take the Scottish players, the real, grit and that sort of thing, Aaron Martin wouldn't be in Spanish playing in Germany. It's probably You're probably going to need a little bit of toughen up, a little bit of filling out. But go on.
I was going to say, what is he again? Sorry.
He's 22.
22.
Yeah, and another thing is, right, he takes his team set pieces, which Liverpool's fullbacks do, and the fact he takes his team set pieces suggests that he has a good delivery on. He got a bit of technique about. So, yeah, he was my choice. I'll let you say yours, and then I'll mention my other two.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I think mine is a little bit more obvious, but I can't help not play this player. It's Alphonso Davies at Alphonso Davies. Sorry, at Bayern Munich. Just because he looks like he's going to be an unbelievable player. Obviously he's Canadian born. He is Canadian born, isn't he? I'm right in saying that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think he originally come over as a left winger, but he's actually proven to be pretty good in defence. So yeah, he's been playing as a left wing back, and he's just been fantastic. You know, some of the things you were touching on there, you were saying about a really good engine, fast, great at carrying the ball, and then he's got pinpoint passing range, and he's confident in possession. He's just a really, really good player. Quite often you'll see him bombing down the flank, which is quite often what you see Robertson do, just picking up the ball and running with it. He's got a decent bit of skill as well. And yeah, I was having a little bit look at the numbers I was looking at, which I'm sure you've probably been having a gander at as well since yesterday, Josh. Some of the metrics that FB Ref have kind of introduced over the last 12 hours. I was having a look at his creating chances per 90. I should probably flag the definition, what they've used on that, but I haven't got it to hand. But it's basically act that lead to a transition, or it might even be a shot on goal. But he was averaging 0.4 per 90 in the league this season, which is pretty good. And for context, Robertson's 0.46. So the similarities there. And as I said, he seems to have both the attacking side of the game really well. He's got good final ball delivery, but he's also proven to be fairly strong in the defensive side of the game as well. He's only 19, which is ludicrous. But there's an issue in that if you were looking at kind of the realism behind any potential transfer, you know, I think he's already valued at upwards of 40 million. I probably think you'd have to pay a lot more to get him as well. So
yeah, that was one of the reasons I eventually opted against him, because I just thought to myself, considering his age and his potential ceiling, I just wonder how much it costs to get him away from Bayern.
Yeah.
But in terms of being applicable to Liverpool, you know, undoubtedly you couldn't possibly deny that.
But yeah, so yeah, I think he's a really good player. Then said it might not go on to ever be a realistic target unless Liverpool really wanted to, you know, fork out to some quality after Robertson in that position. But I think he's going to be a great player.
Yeah. So the two players that I felt applied and didn't mention, one I deliberately left for you, thinking you'd say Robert Skov.
Because we spoke about it, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, when you mentioned it a few weeks ago, I didn't actually know he was playing left back and that. And when I got the numbers up today, he was one of the top names for me that kept sticking out, especially considering his attacking output and stuff like that. So, but I thought to myself, Dave mentioned him a few weeks ago. I know the name as well that I'm not even going to mention, but people will probably expect me to say Jamal Lewis, but I opted not to say him just because, you know, mix it up a little bit.
I think that's the reason, to be honest, I didn't mention a Scoff, just because you don't want to look like a one-trick pony. It's kind of saying the same names, I guess. Yeah,
but this other name is a bit of a wild card, and it doesn't really apply, but I think it does apply. And I'm not looking at positions rigidly here. So, and I saw this about on Twitter. So, Dwight McNeil.
Oh, okay.
What do you think?
Well, obviously he's not glamorous, is he?
He's not, right, but he's English, athletic, up and down the flank, left-footed, good delivery. If you was to play him as a left back at Liverpool, it wouldn't be that different to his current left wing role at Burnley.
I mean, I do really, really like him. I think he is a really good player. And is he still? Is it 20 years, Josh?
I'm not sure on his age actually. I didn't check it, but I know it's like absolute max 23. There's no way he's older than that. But he's
20.
20,
That's mad. Yeah. So you know what? You make a really good point actually, because that kind of traditional winger role isn't really there at Liverpool, is it? So he couldn't really do that. But that's why these players are kind of getting readjusted to these wing back positions.
I mean,
I like that.
We've spoke about David Beckham being, if he was Liverpool's current team, I think he'd be a right back. I think McNeil is similar, and I think considering he's homegrown in English and stuff like that. I remember seeing one or two people on Twitter mention it. I think Sam Maguire might have mentioned it, regular listener to the show, I think. And John O'Sullivan's another fella who I've seen mention it. I'm not sure if he's listening or not. But I remember seeing it and just thinking, you know what, that's a nice little outside the box thought, that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll leave that one there, we'll back slot there. But I just wanted to throw in what I would consider to be a wild card there. So Virgil van Dijk.
I'll be honest. I've found this little mini series that we've ended up doing hasn't been easy at all, because it's just so hard to replace elite players at the top of the game. Go on, what are you gonna say?
Do you know what's done for me? It's made me realise just how rare Liverpool's group is. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like how many boxes every player ticks. Like even with, like, for example, this one last week, you might find a player who delivers what he delivers roughly on the pitch, but he probably won't tick the leadership box, for example.
Yeah.
Liverpool have got so many boxes ticked with this team.
You're right. You're boss on. So I'll name a player who I like, who often plays in the same position, but I'm not saying he could come in and be Van Dijk. And maybe your player might be, but for me, I'm not sure this player is, but he's got a lot of potential, and there's a reason why he's always getting touted for the move to the Premier League, and that's Dayot Upamecano.
First time.
Is that what you've
first
done?
Time? Yeah, it's the first time we've got the same player.
Well, you know what?
It was going to happen once, wasn't it?
Yeah. At least with I was thinking, are me and Josh not on the same wavelength on any of these? So that's good. But yeah, well, I'll just run through a couple of things, and then I'll leave the door open for yourself as well to add further. But quickly on him, I found it interesting. He plays a lot on the left, but he's actually right-footed. I don't know if you picked up on that.
I think I picked up on the fact that he's got a fair amount of minutes on both sides, I think, even though he's predominantly left.
Well, I think they'll sometimes play a 3 at the back, and he may take that central position a little bit as well, because my guess is, I mean, it seems this way in the clips, but it's always worth pointing out if you haven't watched the player week in, week out. I haven't, but he looks quite two-footed, which is obviously a nice thing to have. And with you pointing out there, they play both sides, then he obviously is a little bit, he is comfortable on both feet, which is why he's right-footed playing on the left. But as I said, I won't hog the floor, but really powerful defender, really good positional sense, always looks composed. We avoid giving away any kind of cheap fouls, which is kind of things that you associate with Van Dijk. It's very rare that you see Van Dijk giving away sloppy fouls in the defensive third. I've gone down of giving away around 0.7 per 90, which is it's still double what Van Dijk does, but still not a huge amount. Really high defensive duel success rate of nearly 80% this season, which speaks for itself. Really good passer range, capable of hitting different kinds of balls, in behind the defence, switching the play. Again, stuff that you'd associate with Van Dijk. Yeah,
I think for me, I would say you'll have the option of going down a bit of an alternative route and ending up in the Polish league or something like that. But I thought with Van Dijk, I felt like it was a bit of a no-nonsense one, and I had to get in a player who was just boss, basically. A player who was just like my criteria for Van Dijk was just complete, very, very few weaknesses, fast, aerially dominant, got long to his game, strong, and in terms of his duels, aerially and on the floor, he wins a lot more than he loses. So I just felt I had to get in. If I'm losing Virgil, I had to get a player who was, who was going to be just as much of a pillar in the centre of that defence to basically, provide a platform for the rest of the team to attack from, able to cope and isolation and all stuff like that. So I felt like after looking at the numbers for, I actually felt of the whole 5 that we're doing, I actually felt Van Dijk was the easiest. Surprising, I didn't expect that beforehand. The reason I thought he was the easiest was because of how good Upamecano showed up to me. So Van Dijk, when I looked at his numbers, in terms of his aerial duels, he wins 64.6% of his duels in the air. I think I looked at Europe's top 5 leagues, minimum 1,000 minutes up until the age of 30, and I think Van Dijk's third for aerial duel success. So he's about third best in Europe in there, according to numbers at least. Van Dijk plays about 7 long passes per 90, and his defensive duel success when the ball's on the floor is also, top 5 in Europe. When Upamecano, he hits exactly the same number of long passes per 90, so he also hits 7. He's very, very strong, very composed, good all-rounder, doesn't really have many weaknesses, quite quick, and as you mentioned there, he's winning about 80% of his duels, his defensive duel, which is ridiculous, more than Van Dijk. It's higher than Van Dijk's number there. And aerially, he's winning 60%, which is a bit worse than Van Dijk's 75%, but it's still a strong enough aerial duel success to allow you to play, a dominant game if the opponent likes to go long. Not going to cause you problems if you've got it in your defence. So, yeah, I was surprised at how good his numbers were, actually. And if, say, for example, Arsenal were to target him in the summer and he were to get him, I think he'd improve the majority of Premier League teams. I think he looks like a top defender to me.
Do you think he'll end up coming to the Premier League after this? I keep coming to say the summer, but obviously we don't know what's going to happen. But the next window, do you think he'll end up coming over to the Premier League?
I wouldn't be surprised, just because I'm not exactly sure where else he could go, and I think Premier League defences are desperate for those defenders that can cope. Basically, when you put such burden on their shoulders, some defenders just collapse. But he looks like one of them who's played under those circumstances for years, looks dead comfortable, and his game looks complete enough for him to just cope fine. If he was a bit shorter, if he was less strong, if he was a bit slower, he'd start having problems. But because he ticks so many boxes like Van Dijk does, I think he's on old. Is he 21?
21, yeah, which is ludicrous.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
And I will add as well that I don't know if this is fact or rumour, but I've seen in various places that he's got a release clause of 54 million. And don't get me wrong, I know it's high, but if you think about things like his potential,
I think he's worth that.
Yeah, I would say if you think about what his potential ceiling, what his output now at this age, that's a worthwhile investment. That.
Yeah, especially considering Van Dijk went for about 75 at the age of 26, 27 maybe. Harry Maguire's just gone for about 80 million, aged again I think 27 or so. So if you're getting a player as complete as this in a centre of defence at the age of 21, in and around 50 million, and he was a no-brainer for me. Hence why for me he was the easiest to put in there.
Yeah, no fair. Yeah, I'm glad that we agreed on one there. I'll let you go first on this one in case it's your turn to steal the limelight a little bit on saying the name first. So, although I do think we'll be different on this one actually, but go on.
Yeah, I was going to say that then. So Joe Gomez then. My criteria, it wasn't that different to Van Dijk in terms of I still want my defender to be fast because of the high defensive line. I want him to be aerially dominant if possible. I want him to be composed, strong, and if possible, good technically. Because Joe Gomez every now and then just slides these little incisive passes through midfield and stuff like that. So I was looking for a player like that, and ended up in League One. Saint Etienne, a player called Wesley Fofana. I don't know what they've got in the water at Saint Etienne, but that William Saliba is older at the minute. He's going to Arsenal in the summer. Arsenal got him a year in advance. This Fofana is also there, and he's just 19 years old, so we're doing good.
I must say, you know, he's not on my radar.
He showed up on you know, the criteria I was putting on the search and stuff, and I watched a few clips of him. And considering he's still a teenager, he looks really, really good. 6'1", really good reading of the game. I picked up on stage. His self-defending's proactive. He reads a situation in advance and tends to kind of like dive out and make an interception or that sort of thing. So he reads plays in advance, which is obviously beneficial for a club system, which is quite proactive and assertive and stuff. Looks as though he can cover ground quite well. And his aerial duel success, he wins about 69% of his aerial. So that's in between Van Dijk and Upamecano, really. And his defensive duel success rate is about 66%. So again, they're really good numbers. He's a teenager. He's 6'1", playing for a team that you're going to be able to sign him from. So he was he's probably another. I don't think he's been on the scene for too long. I think he's maybe played a very, very few minutes at the end of last season or something like that. This season's his first real, you know, where he's becoming a little bit more established. But if he keeps playing like this, he looks really, really good to me. Looks like a top player.
Yeah. No, he looks good, and it is funny that you mentioned a French player, because I'm about to as well. I've flagged. I suppose I should mention from the start that my criteria was fairly similar. I put things, you know, looking for pace, because quite often you see teams hit the ball in behind Liverpool's defence, and you know, you'll see Gomez often beating most attackers in the leg race. He's also powerful, good on the ball. I've got for Jules Koyundi. I think that's the correct pronunciation. Seville. 21 years old, signed for them last summer from Bordeaux. They paid 25 million for them, which when I was researching for this, I couldn't quite believe it, but I'm pretty sure I read that was the highest fee they've ever paid for a defender or player, which doesn't seem a lot, but especially for a club as they are. But he's had another good season in Spain. He's 6 foot, so he's not the tallest really. He's really strong in defensive duels. You know, he win just over 71%. Similar to, you know, players who I talked about, he's really composed in 1v1 duels. He's a really, really accurate pass the ball. He averages around 50 passes per 90, which is about 10 less per 90 than Gomez. But you know, I don't like to. I don't want to harp on about success, because I think we're all fans. We know now that, you know, success rates can be flawed, but he does look a really accurate passer. I thought it was interesting that he's averaging around 7.1 passes into the final third per 90, with a success rate of 80%, which is high. You know, I think Gomez attempts more than that, but his success rate is much lower with the same. So it says to me that he's a player that's kind of really good with his decision making on when to take more risk balls and make sure they come off. He's not, compared to the players that we talked about at the moment, he's not as imposing in the air. For me, kind of wanting players with an aerial dual success rate of maybe 62-63% upwards. I think he was around 50 odd. I haven't got it in front of me, but I think it was around, say, 55%. But I was quite surprised. I don't know if you noticed, Josh, that it's certainly in the numbers, at least Gomez's didn't look that high, or as high as maybe you thought it might have been. I haven't got it in front of me now, but I'm pretty sure he was somewhere in the 50s as well.
Just for aerials, or
aerials, yeah.
I think he was higher than that, you know.
Oh well, I mean I could be wrong. Let's have a look now. Actually,
It's frustrating. I think in terms of numbers, one thing you've obviously can't check is the pace. I think that's a massive aspect of Joe Gomez's game. I think
yeah,
one thing that Gomez has got in terms of his pace, it's not just his pace in Van Dijk. It's in the same way as Van Dijk. It's Gomez's acceleration. It's his quickness off the mark and how quickly he reaches his top speed. Virgil takes a few strides, but Gomez seems to hit top speed very quickly. And getting central defenders who are that mobile isn't really that easy.
yeah. I also think it's a little bit difficult to even scout that in the clips as well, because it's there doesn't seem to be much. It seems to be difficult to isolate accelerations, which means you end up having to watch a lot of matches to try and find them.
Yeah, I've got Gomez here at 70%.
See, I thought if you include the Champions League, that drops a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So I've included the Champions League, and it goes down to 63.8, and he's at. Yeah, it just focuses league only. He's at 60%, which doesn't look that bad. But I think we should include the Europa League because it was a big part of Seville's season, and it drops to like 52%. So it's maybe just an area of gain that needs improvement. But listen, he's 21. Looks really good. Again, another French defender. They seem to be getting it all right at the moment with defenders, as you touched on there. He only got sold for 25 million last year. From what I see on the limited clips I did see, but he did seem like he had good pace behind him when battling with attackers to, in duels or balls in behind. So I think he could be a good player. Then maybe would be expensive as other players we touted on the list. 25 million last summer. Even if you pay double that, that's 50 million tops. So, once again, if he's maybe his next destination isn't Anfield, but he's definitely wants to watch.
Yeah. Interesting with the French players. Yeah, seem to have a bit of a wave at the minute of just complete quality French. I mean, Upamecano's French, Raphael Varane's French, Kurt Zuma's French. You've got absolutely loads of them.
I still can't believe. I feels like Varane's been around forever, but he was showing this. He's 25, isn't he?
Is he 25?
I'm sure he's
It's crazy that.
Varane. Let's have a look.
26, yeah. Crazy that.
26, yeah. And he is. I suppose he is. It's his birthday in a few weeks, so that sounds about right. Maybe 26, 27, but still, he does feel like he's been around for a long time.
Yeah. Can you remember where Real Madrid got him from?
No, I can't. But I've got his Wikipedia page here, so let's have a look. Ends.
Okay, I was thinking it might have been another one from Saint Etienne.
Well, I mean, that would have fitted the narrative perfectly there.
Yeah, I couldn't believe when this final lads was at Etienne, considering they've got Saliba there at the minute, who's a similar age. Okay, he's gone to Arsenal, but to have two absolute complete centre-back teenagers come through at the same time, I was quite mad. Really surprised by that.
So maybe Saint Etienne are hard to watch in terms of what they're doing scouting wise.
Yeah. So we'll move on then to the final man. Trent Alexander-Arnold. This is your one.
Did you find this one hard? Because I did. I think he's such a unique player.
I found this the hardest. And the reason I found it the hardest was because I said this a few weeks ago when we was picking our player, and we had like a numbers player and a player of the year was considered. And my numbers player of the year was Trent. And the reason it was Trent is because if you compare him to other right backs, he's just a different stratosphere in terms of like the way he plays, the long passes, switches of play, the passes to the final third, through passes, expected assists, free kicks. He really is different to any other fullback, any other right back especially. So I found it tricky.
Yeah, I guess with mine will be full of caveats really, but it is for everything you've just ticked off on there in the sense that I don't think you can find a like for like out there at the moment for them. So I've just kind of tried to point out a really, really impressive right back that, you know, maybe does have some similarities. And that took me to, again, pronunciation's a nightmare, but this is why I write and I'm not, you know, on the telly. Achraf Hakimi.
I was looking.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, I was close.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the commentary have said it's similar to that. So when I've watched it, so I'm going to go with that. But yeah, those who don't know, Borussia Dortmund player, although he is technically a Real Madrid player, he's been on I think it's been a 2-year loan now, but it does end at the end of this one. But he's still just 21, and he looked really exciting. But we have to bear in mind it's something that you mentioned earlier with Robertson. Trent takes a lot more set pieces, which naturally, you know, bumps those numbers up. I'm pretty sure he's not the chief set piece taker at Dortmund. Despite that, XA, he's got 9 league assists, which is really good. He doesn't attempt as many balls or crosses into the box as Trent. Not many do. Instead, will often look to cut back and keep possession. So you could say he's more risk averse. But what I will say is a lot of that can be down to tactics. You know, the way Dortmund play. You argue the Trent kind of give him frame because how good he is on that right side to put these balls in, whereas maybe it is the same for him. What I will say is though he's a much better ball carrier. Just had a quick look for under 26 right backs across Europe's top 5 divisions who've played 750 or more league minutes this season. He ranks second for progressive runs per 90, which is, you know, that's impressive. It shows that he's good at getting up the field with the ball. Yeah, well, another thing was with kind of going back to, I don't know, negatives, is he looks pretty unremarkable in terms of the traditional defensive statistics. But again, that could be results of tactics, and it's something that, you know, gets associated with Trent a lot, doesn't it? That, you know, people are critical of his defensive game, and to be fair, me and you have been on the Analysing Anfield show once or twice. But, you know, like Liverpool, Dortmund, kind of bending in transitions. If you think that, you know, kind of dominant, and then the ball's getting turned over, it's a lot more difficult, I think, to perform or excel in the defensive aspects of the game when those transition moments where everything's a little bit up in the air. Still think he's definitely who I think could compete on this current Liverpool side.
Yeah, I think for me, he probably was the player as well. But the only reason I didn't select him is because for me, Real Madrid are just too smart to let a player like that go. I think they've currently got Achraf on loan, who's a right back, and they've got Sergio Reguilon, I think is how you say it, on loan, who's a left back.
I don't know why you're asking me, but you are right with that one.
But they've got a left back and a right back on loan there. They're both, I think, maybe 21 to 23 or something like that. Obviously, they're not particularly ready to represent Real Madrid right now because they've got Marcelo, Mendy, Danny Carvajal and players like that. But I think Real Madrid's view is that Achraf and Reguilon will be the start fullbacks at Real Madrid going forward. So, although he's on loan at Dortmund at the minute, I'd be quite shocked if Real Madrid was to let him go, and, you know, hopefully they do.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I've just put it. I was wondering if maybe, you know, if he didn't want to kind of wait in the wings, whether they'd be happy to kind of cash in and bring some, you know, a lot of money in for this set.
Yeah, because it seems like a team that Liverpool don't really ever do business with, unless I'm mistaken. I think Xabi Alonso might have even been the last player, unless I'm completely missing someone obvious.
No, you know what? That's a good point, that actually. You don't really, do you?
No. Anyway, so my player, I think the criteria is quite obvious. Really, I wanted a playmaking type, but from right, which is like crazy. I wanted a player who's really, really good crosser of the ball, really good delivery, good technique. The way he strikes the ball and stuff like that, good passer of the ball. So I'm basically looking like attacking midfield qualities, despite looking for a right back, which is just mad. And I found it tricky to find players. Did look at that, but I ended up going for a player who he's not really that comparable, but he's about as comparable as you're gonna get really, and it's Mehmet Shilich or Sila or something like that. 23 years old, plays for Lille. I'll spell out his surname Celik. So Selich maybe. 23 years old, as I said, Turkish, plays for Lille. He's technically good. He's about as accurate as Trent is with his long passes, but he doesn't attempt as much. I think Trent is completely out of his own, attempting about 13 per 90. This lad, I think, attempts about 5, which doesn't sound much, but if you remove Trent from the picture, it's still a decent amount. His XA, expected assist, isn't really that comparable, but I do think that stems back a little bit to tactics, a little bit to the fact that Lille aren't as reliant on their fullbacks as Liverpool are, as opposed to threat attack. I think Lille, for example, got the likes of Mane in midfield and players like that who can actually provide a bit of progression. For progressive passes, Celik does show up as quite decent to press at the ball file, Dave, and things like that. Few little tricks and things, but he's about 5'11", so in and around Trent's height, I think. Defensively, similar to what you said for your lad, in terms of, I think he wins about 58% of his defensive duels, which isn't bad, but it's nowhere near like Van Dijk levels or whatever. But I don't think many fullbacks are, to be honest.
No, it's not really. It's not a defensive role anymore, which sounds crazy to say because you're part of the defence.
Anfield.
Yeah, it feels like now it's more predominantly an attacking role, which is why your shout about McNeil. He is a midfielder traditionally, but he could play that role, and we've mentioned a few of them. There's examples of players who've come in as midfielders and now they're wing backs because of how the game's adapted to years.
Well, it's funny you should say that. Because the alternative player that I mentioned that I had for this role, you said you've got one as well, didn't you?
Yeah, but mine really awesome. It was more just something to say and get your thoughts on. But go on, okay. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to mention, similar to Dwight McNeil, a wild card in James Ward-Prowse. He's played, I can't remember, between 500 and 1,000 minutes this season as a right back under Ralph Hasenhuttl. And the reason I've threw in there as an option is he's still only 25, feels like he's been around for a while. Takes all his team set pieces. His delivery is brilliant. You're not getting many better deliveries of the ball in the league.
He's like a set piece specialist, isn't he, really?
Yeah, but I can just picture him picking up the ball in that half space position that Trent gets it and whipping it towards the penalty spot. And those balls are a dream for attackers to get on the end of. And I just think this season, considering he's played for a few minutes as a right back, he's English, homegrown, 25. Obviously, there's maybe a doubt over what he's like in terms of his character, why he hasn't really been picked off the Southampton production line, if you like. But I just think in terms of the stylistic feature of his game, despite him technically being midfielder, I feel like if you was to put him as Trent in the large majority of matches, I think he'd provide a similar threat, I think. So I just thought it was a bit of an alternative shot.
Yeah, no, it is interesting because, initially I was thinking, would he be, and guilty as charged there. I was thinking about, an Everton type team where they've got two really dominant aerial threats in the box in the form of Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, and they've had a lot of success with Sidibe this year, who's really good at crossing the ball. He's quite the threat, but defensively he's all over the place. But he's been playing a lot because of that. And I was just thinking then, that's obviously a concern, having a player who maybe can't perform at that same level defensively. But you're inside Liverpool where your defensive actions are few and far between. Does that become less of a threat? And in the case of Ward-Prowse here, would that be, would his defensive capabilities be less of a concern because of Liverpool have to defend?
Yeah, for me, 100%. For me, yeah, a few months ago, I was watching Fulham, and every time I seem to watch Fulham, Joe Bryan seems to show up as a really capable deliverer of the ball. I remember tweeting about it. I got a few replies saying he's not defensively good enough and things like that, but they are labels that were levelled at Robertson when the whole Gary Neville actually came out and said we targeted Robertson when we faced Hull or something like that, or when we faced Scotland or something when he was for England. I think if Trent was playing for Southampton, you'd probably label Trent as a defensive liability. And I don't think it matters that much. I think Liverpool's midfielders are more defensive phase players than Liverpool's fullbacks are. And I think Liverpool's fullbacks are predominantly, because of how play, wingers, really. And that's why, just as a alternative shout, if you like, for Liverpool's left back and Liverpool's right back, I've ended up picking out two basically wingers from down in the Premier League that will perform. You'd be able to perform very similarly without a lot changing in this Liverpool system. It's like Trent. If you look at his positional, he gets his assists and like that. You would think it was De Bruyne, but it's just because of where he's allowed to go, because of Liverpool seeing so much of the ball and things like that, and how Liverpool's system works. So I think if McNeil was to play left back for Liverpool and Prowse was to play right back, albeit with player training behind the scenes and stuff like that, integration and that, I think it'd keep Liverpool's offensive threat the way it is, with the defence hopefully not suffering as much.
Yeah, because I don't even look at Trent as someone who let me start again. I don't even look at Trent as someone who kind of you rely on to really drive and progress the ball. I feels like that's Robertson. He kind of gets the ball up and is making these kind of gut-busting runs down the flank. Whereas I feel like with Trent, it can be a little bit more. I guess would you say a little slower, a bit more pedestrian, where it's all about just getting in the right locations to whip those balls in. And maybe Ward-Prowse could be that type of player. Actually, it's a good point.
Yeah, whenever I Trent, I think of him that inside right position, right on the edge of the final third, pinging crosses towards the penalty spot. That's the vision I usually get, or him switching the play from deep or something like that. And I don't really think that's too different to what Ward-Prowse does anyway, regardless of thinking, strictly positions, he's a left back, he's a right back, whatever. I think if you move those, the same duty still applies, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we have our 11 anyway.
Just quickly before we round it off, I just want to say, did not as a player, and as I said, this isn't news either, but I thought Reece James was showing really well in the data.
Yeah. I didn't want to suggest him because I'd be amazed if Chelsea and Lampard go to Liverpool. But he does seem to have a good balance of going forward and defending.
Yeah, this is maybe even, dare I say, unrelated to Liverpool, just as a general conversation between us. I just think he looks really good in the numbers, and when you watch him, he's really good as well. I think he's going to be, a top player for like the next maybe 10 years or so.
Yeah. Right, so I did say earlier that'd be the end of the series in terms of recreating the Liverpool 11. as though Liverpool's 11 didn't exist. But I've just had another idea inside the past 5 minutes of maybe we could find a coach to deliver what Jurgen Klopp, as though Jurgen Klopp didn't exist. Maybe that's what another episode, something we can maybe look into. So for those that are still with us, still listening right now, if that's something you'd be interested in, give us a shout, reply in the comments. If you'd like to find as close to what Klopp currently is, as though Klopp didn't exist, then give us a shout and we'll do that rather than going down an alternative route of another type of episode. So yeah, thanks for joining us anyway, Dave.
Yeah, nice one, mate. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, same. And hopefully we'll see you next week.
Hopefully. Cheers, take care.